Hello and welcome to Cheatham County's Legends and Icons. You are in for a magnificent treat this morning. It is my privilege and honor to add Master Sergeant Hadley Williams to the distinguished group of people that the Cheatham County Archives has decided deserve a place in history, a visual place in history. And so that's what we're here this morning to do, to give you the life and the times of Hadley Williams. Hadley, thank you so much for taking time to be a part of this Legends and Icons show. You know, Mr. Williams will be 91 May 16th, 91. And as you can see, he still can wear his military uniform. He is a Korean War veteran who's still with us, and we can't tell you what that means to us. We've got a long life to go over, but you know, Hadley, I think we just start from the very beginning. You were born to these two people.
Right.
Your mother
my
and
dad had more fun like two brothers.
Like two brothers.
Yeah.
This is his mother and father.
Oh, my mother, she thought I was close to Jesus Christ, nothing to Hamden Jr.
Well, that's what they say about a mother's love. What's the first home you remember living in? And tell us how you were brought into the world by Dr. Lockhart.
The Lockharts, I think I'm kin to W.B. He was always my super friend. We worked together. I was born behind the now post office here in Ashley City next to the railroad. 3 rooms. I think the rent was about $25 a month. No, it was $15 a month. That's what the rent was there. And I was born there.
And what did Dr. Lockhart, you know, you always want to say judge because so many of the Lockharts are judges.
Dr. Lockhart, I think my birth, he charged my dad about $10 or $15. That's all my dad had back in them days. My dad worked and he never made $75 in 1 weekend of his life. And he did the roughest work it could be done, as only a few black people could handle it. The cross ties like going to the railroad track, carry him on his back and on his shoulder, get 3 yards out and then fold it up and put it on your shoulder. Get a piece of sawmill belt and split it so it would wear out a brand new pair of coveralls in a day. And he would make about approximately $10 or $12. And in the evening, his clothes, he looked like a painter. All that sweat would come out and his clothes was white. I mean, just like that. Only a few people would come watch people carrying cross ties in a boxcar. It was hot as throw it down and get out of there.
Hadley, did the first home you lived in that you have memory of, did that home burn?
It burned. We lived, let's see,
Was it right
just before you get to Co-op, we lived, it's a road go through there now. Our house, my sister was sleeping in, it was a 3-room house, and a fireplace there, and the back stick on it fell out and set that rug on fire. And my sister waded through the fire and come and said, Mama, the house is on fire, and Daddy jumped up. He stayed in till the house almost fell in, put his clothes on, and burnt the house up. And, well, I just might as well tell it all. This guy was named Jody Burgess. He said, I guess you got warm down there last night. My daddy, he was the most coolest old man. He never answered him, no, nothing. And so people just started doing like they do me now, bringing things to him. And when no time we had the furniture and everything, and up where in the area where I live at now, was a lady give us 4 or 5 months rent, no charge whatsoever. My dad kept working, and so I think I got him beat in knowing friends and having so many friends. My dad, he told me something, and I was about 12, 14 years old. He said, son, it's better to have friends than to have money. I said to myself, I'd rather have the money. But I found it out. I've been at the store now. I had changed clothes, And I'd reach, and people behind me say, Hadley, you holding up land? What's wrong? I said, I ain't got no money. I'd put that back. I said, come here's a 20. I said, write your name and telephone number on it, and I'll give it back to you. I see you around here. And I do just my word. I mean, I'd call them and do it. And so, as far as stealing, I never stole nothing. But I tell you what, either one of y'all, if I go to your house, you not out of the driveway. Only thing, if it's a piece of cake in there, you said, my daughter or my son, he showed who lives at. I'm going to raid that Frigidaire, but you got your $903 up there. You going to carry it to the bank? I don't want that, because you know I got that. But I don't care if you get mad at me eating that pie or cake up. I like sweets.
So you're making a confession this morning that you cannot resist desserts.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. I went to one of the banks here down at the dry cleaner. They'd always clean their soup properly. And they said, called me, and I was eating. They said, Hadley, come down here. I want you to go to the bank and get us a $41 bill. I went to a bank here in Ashland City, drive through it, and I said, ma'am, I had 220s. I said, I'd like to get a $41 bill. I got back to the bank, I opened the envelope, I flipped that thing, all 20s in there. And I sat there and I said, and I backed up, and I looked up in the sky, and some said, don't do that. So I went back, and I don't care whose wife it was. I went back, I said, ma'am, I was up here a few minutes ago. Say, yeah, I remember you. She didn't know my name, I didn't know her. I said, ma'am, I told you I wanted $41 bill. You give me $20 bill. She fell off of the stool at the window, drive-through window. And I never, so I went to drive back to the Ashland City town then. I said, no, I know I'm going to be the big guy in Ashland City. They said, Hadley, what bank it was? I never told the bank, and I didn't know the lady's name or nothing. I got a picture of that, and I wouldn't take $1 million for that. I said, that's my honesty.
That is, not everybody would do that.
No,
Hadley.
I know that.
But, that just goes to your integrity, your moral standard that was sort of bred into you. And, that may be one of the many reasons people admire you so much.
Never been in jail. I paid one fine in my life. Service merchandise. I come off Broad Street, went in that way, and you had to go out the back. And I pulled up to the alley, trying to sit down 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, waiting to feel the way the traffic going. And so the policeman down on Broad Street, he motioned me to come down. He said, you coming down a one-way street? I said, officer, I wouldn't have come down there. You motioned me to come. I was waiting to figure where the traffic was going. So he gave me a ticket, $19. That's the only ticket I ever paid for.
Or let's go back and talk about how your military career began.
Oh, my military.
How old are you in this photograph?
20 years old.
20 years old.
20 years of age, wasn't no time. My sister said, Junior, you got a letter, you believe it. And that just killed my mother almost. I mean, my mother's love, but she loved both of us. And my daddy, he was crazy about my sister.
So you were drafted?
Drafted.
You were drafted.
So I stayed 2 years, I got out. You couldn't find a job nowhere.
And so this is your sister.
That's my sister.
That's your
Odessa.
sister.
Everybody made me the king in the family. I couldn't do no wrong.
That's why we say Hadley is the king. So how long between the time you got that letter and your parents had to bid you farewell and you went to the military? What's the time frame on that? Is it a short amount of time, or did they give you a long?
No, it was about 2 weeks, and I was gone. I hadn't
2 weeks.
I had never been far as I ever been. I went to Guthrie, Kentucky to load some tires, and I thought I'd been to a new world as far as I'd been out of Cheatham County.
So where did you go when you were first inducted into the military? What was your first stop?
Went to Nashville, stayed overnight at YMCA, and then got on a bus and went to Camp Gordon, Georgia. I had never seen my eyes was that big going down through that center and Stone Mountain and everything. So I got there, and my job, I was back before when they had communication, was through wires and things, climbing that telephone pole. And I was always scared of that thing. I mean, And if you make one slip, I mean, you was in them gaff, you might stick yourself. And the guy did go up, he could climb like a squirrel, got to the top of that thing, he reached, it wasn't nothing but air out there, and he fell and broke his back.
Oh, goodness.
And that electric scared me to death.
I bet. So between the time you were drafted
Right.
and you were sent to Korea for the
No, I
Korean
didn't go
War.
to Korea, I stayed stateside.
Oh, so you stayed stateside during the Korean War.
Right, all around.
Okay, okay.
It was, I was in communication up there, issued out tools and things, and then I got, just before I got out, I got a capacity transfer and got transferred back down here, and I got out.
So when were you given the rank of Master Sergeant?
I stayed in the Army Reserve about 12, 14 years, and I worked for Henry Hooker and his brother John J. Hooker. And I went out to Bearfield, that's the Air Force, what
Right.
uniform what I'm wearing now. And they said I didn't pass the test. And I carried a letter out there from Mr. Hooker. They said if you'd brought this first, you could have got in out here. And so I went on up, I got in food service out there. And so thought I was a cook. I learned a lot about cooking.
Well, you know, you are a cook. I hate to jump the gun here, but you know, you are the king of hot water cornbread.
I just fell for that. I heard people talking about hot water cornbread, and I'll tell you how to do it now. For a family of two, you take a teacup and you fill it. Don't have to be level in the family. You fill it level 2 times and pour it in a bowl about that big, and then 1 cup of flour, self-rising flour, self-rising meal, pour it in there. And then you take your bowl, let's see, you take a big spoon, biggest spoon you got of sugar. It's not going to be sweet. You put that in and stir it real good. You push it all the way upside this bowl, and just got some water on the stove, hot as it can be, and you pour it in, and you leave it just as thick as concrete. And then you got your cup over here, a teacup full of hot water and some vegetable oil or some oil. And you dip your spoon in there, and you dip down in there, and all that'll drip off spoon. You don't use no skillet. Skillet get too hot. You use a frying pan. It's a difference in a frying pan and skillet. A frying pan is metal, and a skillet is iron. You hold it over about this much vegetable oil in there. You hold it like that, and it'll turn that spoon loose. And you go back and stick your spoon back in that water, and dip up out of your mixture. And you do it again, it fall off spoon, and all of your pones are the same size and everything. And you can see it brown a little on the edges. Take your spatula and turn it over real easy. Pretty good eating.
Well, you know, he makes that sound easy, but I bet you that there are 100 women, or women, men mix, in Cheatham County who have tried to make hot water cornbread, and it never tastes like Hadley's. He's also the king of turnip greens. The king of turnip greens.
Oh, and one other thing I'd like to say, it's now watermelon season. I'm one person, live by myself. I buy a watermelon for myself right now. You buy you tell whether it's right. If you can find your broom, here's a watermelon, long watermelon. You lay the straw up on that watermelon, here's what it'll do. Try it.
It moves all by itself?
It turn all the way around and fall on the floor. $100 to a penny that it's right.
So you're saying that you can witch the same way we witch water.
Yeah.
You can witch a watermelon
You take
with a broom straw.
A broom straw, lay it up there. This is a broom straw, my finger. And lay it crossways around, and it'll do that there. Boom. It's right, about $100 to a penny. You won't get my $100.
That's your hack for today. Let's talk about friendships in Ashland City and Cheatham County, and people, some of your nearest and dearest friends who you still keep in touch with, that are in your age bracket, so to speak.
I saw somebody, we went in at the same time. I called him every so often. I didn't know he was up at assisted living up next to Marble Bridge. Preston Tucker. I always tell him, I said, if anybody's in heaven, His daddy's there. He was one of the honest people. I mean, I always conducted myself business. You didn't hear me around people that I just met saying bad word, cussing and saying this here. Anybody could start cussing, hey man, don't do that. You said lady, don't do that. I mean, that's not my thing, cursing and everything, because it'll slip out at the wrong place, you said. And so I always want to be respected, loved, and I think I got too much. I mean, people is nice, and my son, he said, Daddy, everybody know you, everybody give you a good name. I said, hell, they can't give me a good name. I worked and earned my good name. Don't go around cussing around ladies.
So how many years did you spend on the Planning Commission? She put you on, and so we went through several mayors, and it wasn't until the previous mayor when you actually rolled off the Planning Commission. But did you also sit on the Cheatham County Election Commission at one point?
I did. Miss Sandra Smith, she thought we'd go off. Back then, we went down to Memphis and up Knoxville and Chattanooga one and everything. And people asked me, and this blew my own mind. I went to high school 1 year, and my dad having such a tough time putting food on the table. And the bus, we got the second step down school bus, and that thing had 3 winners out on this side and 4 out on this side. We'd go to Springfield, and that guy drove it just like Richard Petty drove a race car, and went all them big tobacco farm back then on the left side of the road. We'd go back there. It was so dusty when we got to Springfield, you'd shake all that dust out of your clothes and everything. And they was past me to the 9th grade. And so I saw my dad having a hard time putting food on the table, a $20 or $25 rent and everything, one light bulb in the house to pull that down. So I didn't go back. He said, son, I sure wish you'd go back. So I made it. I worked hard, and I self-made. I saw my dad have a hard time. I'd always not throw all of my money away. I believe in that bank. I still believe in that bank. Save something. I mean, I said, don't let a squirrel have more sense than you got.
And we'll be right back after a few words from the Cheatham County Archives and the Cheatham County Library.
Shh. Welcome to Cheatham County Library in Ashland City, where not only can you check out a book, but you can do so much more.
Poll officials in Cheatham County make new friends, help their communities, and earn a little cash. $85 a day by working at one of the county's 3 early voting sites, and $115 a day by attending training and working on Election Day. Workers are needed for the August and November elections. To learn more, call 615-792-5770 or apply at www.cheathamcounty10.gov/election.
The Cheatham County Archives houses the county's founding documents. Our oldest document dates to 1854, 2 years before Cheatham County was established. Founded in 2019, the Archives preserves priceless documents and photographs. Visitors are welcomed Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Tell me about your friendship with Paul Robert Gupton.
Oh, we worked together. Down below Shoemaker's Garage, the Chrysler, we made those blocks down at Tucker's Mill.
You and Paul Robert
Paul
Gupton
Robert
did that?
Gupton, W.B. Lockhart, and Jimmy, I don't know, he never would get in flush. W.B., he was just like one of the others. He'd work like I don't know what. And so we all got grown, and W.B., he went in the military. And so I think he was lawyer now up at Fort Jackson, South Carolina and everything. Come in, and he'd always take time to talk with him. And Jimmy, Jimmy was a good guy and everything. But I was short of W.B.'s friend.
And Paul Robert, have you seen him lately? Is he somebody that you've been
Paul
able to
Robert
see?
used to come up, and they've been trying to get me to go up to assisted living, but I'm happy where I am and everything, and so still can take care of myself pretty good, and so.
Now, speaking of Lockharts, and when you said Jimmy Lockhart, it reminded me of Elsie Lockhart, your dear friend. Well, I guess we need to talk about some of your women friends from way back in the day. So, Elsa Lockhart, I took you to visit her one day. She lives behind where the old Lockhart's funeral home was. She lives in one of those homes there, and she had memories of you that went back quite a ways.
She had a brother, and he was crazy about me. I mean, he wasn't the nicest to him and everything. Junior, I couldn't do nothing bad in his sight and everything. He'd always, Paul, he'd always take up time with me and everything. He could take that slingshot, and I don't know if they paid him not when it was pigeon on the courthouse. He'd kill him pigeon up there. I don't know if they paid him nothing.
That could have been a sport. That could have been a sport.
Oh, and he would go up the railroad, and them insulators on that wire up through there, he could take that thing and shoot and bust them thing like I don't know what. He was just as nice to me as ever.
Speaking of making money, you came up with all kinds of ways to make a dollar. So talk about that for just a moment. I find it so interesting, starting with pet burial.
What happened? Oh, back in the day when Tennessee went to one license plate, I went over to the barber shop, and the guy made one for me, charged $15, and the letters came off. He must have stuck the letters on there with chewing gum. I didn't argue with nothing with him, and so I said, anything anybody can do pretty good, I can do it better. And so I was out there at Ford, where there was a lot of people, and it took me a while. I found out where you buy the material, and I'd pick them. And some of the guys said, I'm not going to put mine in my car. I said, they'd steal them, and they'd take them home, put them up on the mantle, and some of them still living. And so I saw they'd bring some guys from Murfreesboro to go up in McMinnville and get that shrub and bring it down. I started another business. Nothing failed. Everything was a success.
Was that your landscaping business?
That's landscape. I went up to McMinnville, and it was one art I'd give it anything in the world, Larry. One of the guys down there, one of the largest nurseries there was in McMinnville, he grafted another tree onto this tree. That just blew my mind. And the people up there, 2 or 3 nurses, say you find a space down there and said, we'll let you get a truckload and set them out and pay us. I mean, I'd go up and didn't have, right? I said, oh, that's real pretty. And you can pay us on naked. Now, 1 or 2 times I did that, and then I'd always make sure I had money on a checkbook and everything. And so down, some of my work down back of Mary Gray's house, apartments, I set those trees down there, and I learned the art, and then
How did you get into burying people's companion animals? How did that come about?
It was a guy over in front of a McPherson men's store going up Charlotte Avenue.
I know exactly.
You turn right directly in front and go 1 block and turn right and go up there. And this old man, if it was now, I would buy see if I couldn't have got a loan, and had a crematory up there. And I don't know where he got the different kind of urn. I carried them up there, and I tell you, I had a picture. I still have a book of all the dogs and everything. He said, oh, I tell him $250. I tell you that. And he'd give me the $150. I mean, and I was making money. And right now, if I live, I can fix me a crematorium and buying those urns where to put them in.
Well, you know, there are times when I'm driving him around Ashland City for one thing or another, and he'll say, "Oh, see that mailbox?
Yeah, I did mailboxes, house numbers, and
House
everything.
numbers." That's you were quite a jack of all trades, is what I would call you, Hadley. Jack of all trades.
Yeah, but that I learned graft another plant on the tree onto this here. I'd give anything in the world if I could learn that. Had 2 trees going on, and Bill that had the rest up Highway 12 there.
Krantz.
He told me, Bill
Krantz.
Krantz, he said, "Now, you can have that field back there." And I just never would go for it or nothing. And when I'd go up, I'd have my checkbook, and sometimes I said, "I can't write them." I said, they said, "Well, you pay us when you come back." And I'd always pay the people. I'd stop before I even start buying and pay them off so I could be honest. I sleep good. I don't want nothing but all of man. I don't want you to take nothing to man.
So you're getting ready to turn 91 years old. Do you have any advice, or is there anything that you feel deep down that helped you live to be this age? You didn't take a lot of risk. Maybe it was good DNA. Very few people, men or women, live to see 90, and you're getting ready to be 91. What do you think? What do you attribute that longevity
My
to?
dad, I seen people say mean, bad things to him, and I just found Daddy said, "Oh, son, we'd get off going somewhere." So I don't pay it no attention. And I've taken a lot of stuff. I mean, don't just shut your ears up. I mean, you saying bad things to me, calling me everything, shut my ears up and go off. And I'm kill you when I get home, shoot you and everything else, but I ain't gonna do it. And stay away from it, and don't try to boil that up. I mean, when it's over, it's over. That's it.
Let bygones be bygones.
That's it. I walk from here up that street, I mean, to Dargeville. Here he come. I'm going down through the woods or somewhere. I don't want a second. And I had people turn around, "Well, I was wrong," and they'd come to me, and then everything is okay. And I never talk about nobody even till now. I said, they got their way and I got mine. Don't ever cause a word will get back to you. I mean, I said something bad about him.
Name 3 pieces of advice that you would give someone to have a good life. And good is not always about how much money you have in the bank.
Money ain't nothing. Always try to have a smile on your face. If you're mad or something, and try to talk about something good. Ask somebody advice. You don't know everything in this world. And just like I told you about those 2 things of watermelon or something like that. And try to hang around when you're in your teenage, some older people, and that's like going to high school or going to college. Listen to that knowledge, what the older people there and went through. I can tell little children, don't do that. Don't be saying bad words around people. I mean, just don't use a bad word. That's the worst thing it is. When it come out of your mouth, you can't suck it back. I'm saying a bad word. Just talk nice and work on yourself when you're even by yourself.
And what's that about getting old? What's that famous quote that you say?
I'm not old. You just been here a long time.
Don't get old. Just live a long time. That's your lesson.
Yeah, that's it.
From this Cheatham County legend and icon, Hadley Williams.
Yeah, you don't get old. Just live a long time. Treat everybody right, even when they do you wrong. Cause that hurt that lady or that guy. You said some. She said something bad to you, and you treat her so nice. I mean, that's a whipping itself. I ain't kidding.
That
you
is.
done cuss me and said everything, and then threw the rock at my car when I'm leaving, and then I come back and get some more people around. I treat you better, so much nice. That hurts you just like I don't know what.
Kill people with kindness.
Yeah,
I like to
beat you. I like to beat you up with. Well, you try to beat me up. I like to beat you up with kindness.
That's a good way to go.
And then I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Henry. Henry about you or nothing. Oh, he's a good fellow. I mean, you done cussed me and did everything, throw rocks at me. Don't do that. So he's a good guy. I said, oh, he's funny. I said, just don't be easy with him, and that's it.
Okay. So we are getting close to wrapping this up. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Hadley, that maybe we didn't touch on today? 91 years of life is a lot to cover in a short amount of time. So
I wished I could gather some of these teenagers together, tell them some of the life. Smoking this stuff and all this stuff and breaking and doing things. I mean, old as I am, I believe I'd cry if you put me in jail. I don't know when they're going to take me to trial. Me sitting up in there and just going around this little hole. I just couldn't handle that. I mean, it's easy to do. You have to go to trouble to do something wrong. It's just, I walk through life easy. I mean, people say, here come Hadley. He got something funny to tell you or something like that. He got something he want to tell you. That's what I like.
I just want to tell you what an honor and a privilege it has been to have this time with you this morning as we put together this Legends and Icon of Cheatham County. And thank you all for tuning in. And thank you to our videographer, to our Cheatham County Archives, and to our Cheatham County Mayor McCarver. Sorry he couldn't be here this morning, but we will see you next time on Legends and Icons of Cheatham County. And they are wonderful, wonderful people. We should never forget them.